My brother made jokes at my expense in his best man speech and called me a prototype, but my parents are siding with him and I want them out of my life. My youngest brother, let's call him Phil, got married today and the ceremony was absolutely beautiful. His bride was stunning and everything was great and well done. His best man was our other brother who I'll call Jack. My wife and I weren't part of the wedding party, which is fair because we didn't ask them to be in ours 5 years ago. After the ceremony we did the pictures and a cocktail hour. It was nice to talk to some out-of-town family and old family friends, and Jack and I were talking about the day they all had and then everyone was called inside for the reception. We go in, and have dinner. My wife and I were starting to get kinda tired but I told her I really want to hear Jack's best man speech so we agreed to wait. I wish we hadn't. Jack goes up, introduces himself and starts his speech. Well, about 34 years ago, Mom and Dad got married and decided to try for kids and they started with the prototype, my older brother. I should have known where this is going. He continued. They realized that hey, they can do better, so they got it right the second time. Me. Mr. Perfect. And I was. Our grandfather would call me Crusher because I would beat up on my older brother as a toddler. We were always opposites and didn't really get along a whole lot. So Mom and Dad decided they needed someone to help him out and so they had this guy. Now when he came around I was like, yeah, he seems alright. So growing up we terrorized my older brother. Good times. He continued his speech but I was kinda checked out at that point. I was, and still am really upset about it because I have always been the butt of all the jokes in my family. My brothers, my cousins, even my parents. I'm the different one. I'm very emotional and empathetic, which is a blessing and curse. I'm overweight, they're both athletes. I enjoy D&D, reading and being a nerd. They like sports and outdoor activities. You get the idea. I get up and my wife goes to the bathroom before we decide to leave. Jack finds me and is like, you good? I meant to say at the beginning of my speech that I apologize because my older brother is probably going to get upset. I just look at him and say you're good. But I would have appreciated a heads up that that's what you were gonna do. He looks at me and just goes. If I did that, I wouldn't have gotten the genuine reaction. I just walked away, met my wife, and we left. I asked her, am I crazy? Was his best man speech really just a ton of shots at me? She said it seems like he was trying to be funny but not everything landed. And yes, you were the butt of his jokes. I drove home pretty much in silence. I'm tired of always being the butt of all the family jokes. We're supposed to have lunch with extended family tomorrow and the only reason I'm going is because I only see these family members maybe once a year. I don't want to see Jack, or really anyone else from my immediate family. Do I have a right to be upset, or am I being overly sensitive? Update, my wife sat down with the family and we were all chatting. At one point, my uncle goes Phil's speech was very sweet. I couldn't have given that without crying. My mom says yay, he had something prepared because he practiced it with me and he changed it after the wreck. Jack piped up hey, I had a good speech too. My dad just says it was a good speech. It was all about op. I just got angry and said I thought it was weird that it was so focused on someone who wasn't even involved in the wedding. He and my dad got quiet, and then just continued their conversations with the people next to them. I avoided eye contact with Jack and we left about 15 minutes later. My wife and I went home and just proceeded to relax since we're finally getting a break from our students. Jack tried to call me. Once. I let it ring. He didn't leave a VM. Then about an hour later, my grandma called asking how lunch was and she could tell I was upset in my voice. When she asked what's wrong, I told her about being upset with Jack. She said I don't think your brother meant it and I just go then why bring it up? This is all the time. And then everyone wonders why my wife and I don't come around as often or leave early at events. I'm tired of it. She was calm and said well, your brother can't give a speech and he thinks he's funny but he can't make jokes without insulting someone. Have you told him and your parents how you feel? I said yes, and that it hasn't changed for years. She just says y'all are gonna have to work this out. I told her that I don't want to talk to him right now and she goes I know, I understand. You and I are just the afterthoughts kid. Update 2, Jack tried to gaslight me. I let things sit for a few days and decided that I was in a good headspace to send Jack a text. Hey, I've seen your missed calls and I am not ready to have a conversation right now. I need you to know that you really hurt me on Saturday. Your speech was nothing but jabs at me for laughs in front of friends and family. Then to tell me that you didn't give me a heads up because you wanted a genuine reaction made me feel even worse. I have been upset all weekend about this because nothing that was said felt like it was about Phil and his new wife, but how you would take shots at me growing up and then get Phil to join you. I told you that we were good at the reception because I wasn't going to make a scene at Phil's reception. They already had a rough day. But then for you and Dad to bring it up again Sunday at lunch, and for Dad to even admit that the speech was all about me, it brought the hurt out to the surface and I couldn't stay quiet. You and Phil are my brothers, and I will always love you too. Right now though, I can't have a conversation with you while I'm this hurt. I can be civil and cordial with you at family gatherings, but nothing more. These jabs and prods at my expense have gone on too long and they continue to drive a wedge between us. I am asking for 2 things. 1. Please stop with the teasing and jokes at my expense. 2. Give me some time to cool off from this. Time will help to mend this but right now, I'm not ready for that conversation. I'll see you on Thursday. Love you. He responded a few hours later. I've talked to a bunch of people about this already and everyone I talked to said that there was nothing wrong with my speech and I didn't say anything to degrade you, or your character. I think you took everything I said way out of context and you are way overthinking everything. The other thing I was also told is that the best man's speech is supposed to be a joke and never taken seriously. Also I've also been told by many people that they have heard similar speeches. Mom and Dad wanted a child then they had me the perfect child and the third one was a complete accident. Nothing I said was hurtful or demeaning. Also why is it that if they said if I took you out and said our cousin's name or someone else then the speech is fine? That tells me that you personally think there is a lot of truth and you really don't know how to actually just have a laugh. Growing up I always hated that stupid nickname Crusher and you know that. What was said that was so hurtful exactly? And Dad never said the speech was about you. I was angry and my wife could see I was on the verge of tears. I called my grandma and asked to go to her house to talk. When I got there she goes so what's up kid? You know, Jack feels really bad about this situation. He was talking to me about it last night and I go, really? Because that's not what this text says. I read her the conversation and she just goes, he's an ass that doesn't want to admit he's wrong. We talked for a little while longer and she's like, you are not overreacting here. If this was a one-time thing, I would say you are. But you have been putting up with this poop all your life. We finished talking, I helped her fix her phone to the car connection and went home, not feeling better but feeling validated. A few hours later Phil called. We were checking in on how his wife was doing and she goes like, I got hit by a truck. Lol, I'm glad she can kinda laugh about it. He goes, we actually wanted to check on you and see how you were doing. We noticed you guys had left at some point without saying goodbye. I apologized for it and told him no, I wasn't okay. I read him and his wife the text messages and his wife just goes, that's bullshit. We talked yesterday and I ripped into him. His speech was not appropriate and you were definitely targeted. Phil added in at first, I didn't see a problem but when the two of us drove home and talked I could see how it could have been taken and we're both really sorry that was done at your expense. We talked a little longer and ended with his wife saying we got your back on this one. Jack's a bully and I get why you and your wife don't come around as often to be around that. Just know that I DGAF what his opinion is and a lot of the time when you guys leave things, I call him out on his poop he says to and about you. Phil echoed her and we said goodbye and we will see each other Thursday for Thanksgiving. Another update, many people have asked for an update about Thanksgiving and, in terms of this situation, nothing eventful. We were civil and that's about it.